Brought to you by Alman Auctions, the worldwide leader in antique tractor auctions.
For many classic tractor collectors, the hobby is a lot about preserving agricultural history and trying to hold on to things that might otherwise be lost to history. And Dave Harrington from Nebraska, you did exactly that by really bringing back to life something that didn't exist anymore. Tell me a little bit about this tractor that you've created as a replica.
Well, this was kind of a dream for me. In Norm Swinford's book, he wrote about the Allis-Chalmers Duplex, and I thought it was pretty neat, but nobody seemed to know what happened to the original or anything like that. And so I figured if the possibility I could ever come up with two of those tractors, I'd try and build one. I didn't have one at the time, and I had no idea if I'd ever find one. I ended up restoring a couple of 612s for a fella, and in part payment I got to keep one of the 612s. I restored it and just kind of kept quiet about it. Put out the word that I was looking for another tractor, and 15 years later I got a phone call and said they knew where one was and wanted to know if I was interested. I said, of course. So I bought it and spent a couple of years in building the Duplex replica.
So the 612 Duplex, what was, what era was that? And then what was Allis-Chalmers trying to do at that time?
Well, it was built in 1920. And the idea was that the guys could put two of these tractors together and do their heavy field work and then separate them and do the light work. And that was, pretty much the idea there.
And what do you think of that idea?
Well, I'm not sure it was real practical, but everybody was trying to come up with something in those days. I just thought it'd be an interesting project to try and replicate it.
Tell us a little bit about the power plant on this tractor.
It was a Leroy engine. Alice outsourced that for these, so that's what both of them are.
And how much power and what kind of work would they do on the farm?
Well, the 612 was originally designed to replace the horse. They had either a single dolly wheel on the back or two, and what you did is you cut the horse-drawn tongue down, pulled it underneath, removed the dolly wheels, and then you'd set on the implement. So you didn't have to buy new equipment, basically. And the idea was to put two of them together, and you could double your output, or you could pull 3 bottom plow with the Duplex put together, or 1 bottom plow with a single.
What stands out about this? What do people ask most when they come upon the Duplex at a gathering of the Orange?
How does it work? How do you coordinate everything? How do you make the governors work together? It's all in the linkage and little know-how, I guess. Best way to put it.
And then I noticed as you were driving around, you're not always using both engines.
No, I can run it on one. When you're pulling, you'd need the power, of course, and then you would, but just to move it around, one's fine.
What do you think it would have been like to farm with one like this out in Nebraska wheat country?
Well, it probably would have been a lot better than horses, but it would have been really hot.
Lots of dust in your face probably too, huh?
Oh yeah. That wouldn't change any from the other older tractors without cabs or anything. That would have been about the same.
Did you have anybody say, my gosh, why did you take on a project like this?
Oh yeah, to me it's just something interesting. I've always been into older equipment, and it just looked like a fun project to me. I thought people ought to be able to see what they used back then. There was no examples.
So tell us just a little bit about kind of the layout of this tractor. Obviously it's the Duplex, but it's got a lot in common with the 612s. Crank start. Tell us just a little bit about some of the features the 612 offered to the farmer back in 1920-21.
Well, basically it was just a 1 speed forward and 1 reverse. You could get an optional belt pulley with it. Basically it was just to pull equipment or run a belt.
Steel wheels.
Steel wheels, yeah. There was no rubber for these.
And pretty basic big hunk of iron, huh?
Yep, that was pretty basic.
For you, as you tried to put the Duplex together, what was some of the toughest challenges you faced?
Figuring out the center section that bolted the two together. The gear shift linkage is synchronized so that you can't put it in opposite gears. And if you did, why it would automatically kick the other engine out. Hooking up governor linkage to where it would synchronize, clutch linkage. It was basically it, and it had to pivot on one of them, and you had to lock the steering in the other one.
And you said it, but the idea really was that a farmer could have a 612, two 612s, and sometimes work them together and sometimes disconnect them. How easy do you think that would have been on the farm?
I don't think personally it was very easy, although the salespeople said it took 20 minutes. Good luck with that.
What do you love, though, about Allis-Chalmers? Why is it so important to hold on to these pieces of the past?
It's just interesting to me. I've worked for an Allis dealer for 48 years, and I've just always been interested in the older stuff. Why, I don't know, but that was my interest.
And this one, you're going to take it around the country a little bit, show it off, hold on to it for a good long while?
I hope so. I hope to keep going as long as I'm able.
And do you have the sense you're preserving history right here?
Yep. And this is one piece I don't think anybody'd seen unless me or someone else tried to do it.
All right, Dave Harrington, thanks for bringing the Allis-Chalmers 612 Duplex back to life.
You're welcome. Glad you enjoyed it.
Our thanks to Dave Harrington from western Nebraska with his 612 Allis-Chalmers Duplex. You're only going to see one like this.